Take about 2 minutes. Let me just double check it. God, have you been sleeping?
No.
What's up with that? Like, it's crazy. I wake up almost every night. I go to bed, or I actually go to bed like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I'll wake up 2 hours later, and then
Yeah,
I'll walk around, then I go back to bed, and then I'll wake up 2 hours later. A lot of
I
lucid dreams.
yeah, same. I keep waking up and I feel very hot at night,
Hmm.
which is always for me when something massive is anchoring. This happens with the sleep. What's happening now for me?
Yeah,
Yeah, but not much sleep now.
it's been a hell of a ride. We probably started doing shows 2 years ago. It's been a
Wow.
hell of a ride. I mean, but I jump on, I share post for the group, and I get to pick up on people, what people are doing. So I popped in on a couple of I noticed that's when I reached out to you because I really haven't been doing much of the scheduling. And I was
Yeah.
like, we got to get back together, see what's happening. And your messages are positive, stay calm, stay in your heart. And
Yeah.
uh and then you got this of course this pressure of this pandemic, and all the great pressures it's applied. It's such a ironic, paradoxical energy. And then oh, is the name wrong? Yeah, the name is wrong. See, I am not uh with it today. I'll go back and change it on all the platforms. Thank you, Dion. I'll change it when the show is over, but let me change it now. Okay. Sorry about that. I haven't made that mistake in a while. Um, yeah. And so at the same time, you've got, like, you know, people speaking their truth, right?
Yeah.
They're speaking their truth. And I don't know about you, but I think it's a great sign that more and more people, even, every one of us, when we speak, it's a bit shadowed, right? I mean, we're not whole. And well, we are whole. Let me restate that. We're finding our whole. We're finding our holy and whole, right? But it's good to see that people are speaking their mind. And of course, it creates the back and forth, and you can just use vaccine as an issue, or COVID, or whatever, freedom, whatever you want, whatever one you want to pick, quarantines. Um, but it's good that people are 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 speaking up and not holding things in. I mean, it's after all, we've been told this for what, 10 years at least. I mean, in mass, 10 years that all the truth's going to come out.
Yeah, and I mean, we know from our personal awakening journey that at some point all the things need to start coming out, yeah? And it's not always pretty.
Mm-mm.
I mean, maybe mostly it's not pretty, actually, when it starts coming out. And you said my posts are calm and so, but that doesn't mean that I'm never angry or anxious or all of that. I am. I just don't go posting in that time.
Right,
I
right.
I I calm down first, but I do get angry and upset.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of um, how we, for me, I feel like that the human, I feel like that the human's unique contribution, or first of all, the unique characteristic of the human is the heart. And of course, from the heart, you have all the emotions, and you can't just say happiness. You got to bring them all in. So you got anger and happiness and all the other ones. And I
Yeah.
feel like that through our personal work, we're learning to alchemize these emotions, such as things like what you're talking about, such as when you're angry, you're feeling your anger, you're respecting your anger, but you're not sharing your anger because you're learning to alchemize it in some way we don't really can't figure out, but it certainly we must be on the right path. But even but I think that's what I'm trying to say is that being in touch with our emotions. You've heard people talking about it over the years, and go sit with it, feel it, rather than push it away or deny it or ignore it. Yeah. Now, then there's this slippery slope where do you say something or do you not say something? Because it's becoming a time when it's powerful to say something.
Yeah, exactly. And that this is what I've been getting ready for this week, actually, to say something a bit more directly about it. I don't know yet what it will be because I'm letting it land. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what I was referring to earlier, is this feeling that happened to me a couple of days ago. And I think, a lot of people are familiar with it. I mean, I went through what, a lot of people are going through, this sudden, massive, energy comes in your body. You feel like you're going to die. I was shown my mortality, not that I was going to die, but just staying in that energy and not running from it, not free, it was pretty wild. But I got up and I did a live video. I started doing solos again a few weeks ago, and I just did that. I just said, the whole idea was, what would be, the thought came to me, like, what would I have to say? What message would I leave if I was going to go right now? And it was all about, it was actually about the COVID thing, as it came to me, which was, what a gift. It's actually the opposite of what we think. A mask, we're seeing mask. Well, what do? We put mask on. It's about vaccines. Well, what do? We look for external energetic vaccines to inject in our field to change us, which does change us. We know this. And then quarantines, like we talk about empaths being hermits, and I'm guilty, but I feel like that, these things are inevitable. The masks come off, the external fixes come off, be they drugs, be they sex, be they whatever. And then that we've got to come out of our caves, because why don't we come out of our caves? Because this is, I changed the title. It'll show up in a little bit, but like, what better way to move this along? Because what is another thing everyone has been coming to, which is just to be what? Be yourself. Right. So like, how can we see people, how can we be exposed to that truth, that rawness, that humanness, if we're all hidden? And so, I just feel like that's kind of where we're all going to end up. My friend calls it the baseline, and I call it like the level playing field, where everybody's the same and there's nothing left to hide. What a fearful thought from an individual standpoint, that Maja would know everything I ever did in my life. But what a liberating, freeing thing too. And I see it too with the women that have been coming on, especially, and some of the men, really the guests that have been coming on the last few weeks, which I think is kind of a representation of what's happening collectively. And they're coming out and they're I had a lady on the other day from Alaska, and she just told stories for about an hour and a half about just different parts of her life, and the tears started coming out. And I just asked her, it's like, how does this make you feel to be able to speak like this? And she said, I don't know, but it feels good. That's all I know. It actually feels liberating. So I don't know, complex but simple.
I feel personally that I am now in that moment when I am really deciding to accept the human experience. I mean, it's been going on already, I've been doing this gradually, but now I feel it's the moment when I am saying yes, I want to be here now, even though all of this is happening, on the outside, everything is happening, all the reasons why we were hiding till now, to be safe, to be protected. That's why, that's why I think all of us who are energetically more sensitive and open, we have been hiding because of what happened in our past lives. And now this is somehow repeating, in a way, the witch hunt. You know, that's at one point, this was for me, they're coming for us again. This, yeah, it's
Yeah.
triggered those memories. But now I'm really in the moment, okay, but I chose to be here now.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know, and I had a moment in December, was just before the new year, when I felt, okay, my mission is complete. It was so clear. My mission is complete. I can leave now. Like I'm free to leave. I'm free
Right.
to go. It's okay. I will, you know, I have completed all the circles, all the rounds that I had to do on Earth. I did what I was sent for, but I can choose to stay and I can be a human
Right.
and enjoy human life. And I was sitting with that for some hours, maybe half a day, and I chose to stay.
Right.
And it feels so different since that moment. You know, I'm really landing into the human experience. I don't know if this resonates with people or if you know what I mean, but it's like I didn't have to be here now anymore, but I chose to be because I really want to be in my body as everything that I am expressed through my human. Let's
R-
call it that.
No, I think that's a great synopsis, and that's a great discussion to have with ourselves, plural. You know, because there's so much to us. You know that it's not just the multidimensional aspect, but it's the multidimensional human.
Yeah.
Right? It's all those pieces of us that we picked up, and but yeah, I think that's a great synopsis to come to the understanding that we by our free will we chose to come here. I really believe that the minute we leave, we're going to realize the gift it really was, and that the human part of it is the point. So it's like like the human is the hero. I mean, and I really feel that the human is the hero because of the uniqueness it has. We have in our makeup, which is primarily the heart. You hear quite a few people that have had ET encounters, star family encounters, and in fact, I brought this up several times because it's such a great example. Alicia Brachet from Australia came on and spilled her heart out and talked about these pregnancy symptoms and apparent immaculate conception at some level that
Yeah.
she had. And it was going on for years, and how she felt like she was going crazy and all these different stuff. And then she started speaking out on it. And other women were saying, this has happened to me. And so in her case, she had quite a few validations, one of them being a mantid coming into her bedroom and telling her, hey, everything's okay. We're facilitating this. And she said, well, what about my emotions? And they said, well, we didn't figure that in. And in her own way, she said, well, you're going to. And to me, that was really a defining moment. Not just that, but her tears, the depth of her feeling, the depth of her coming out with this, and in a safe environment too. Which is great to be a part of. But I thought, wow, that's it. And at the same time, I was having conversations in my bedroom every day, every night, every morning with my team, whatever you want to call it, myself, saying, hey, I get this. I totally get this. I appreciate everybody. Love, reverence, honor, respect. But I'm going to have a say here. Like the human's going to have a choice here. And that sovereignty thing everybody's talking about, it doesn't just stop with our governments. It's all the way down the road back to the one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the sovereignty thing, yeah, it's a big thing that everybody talks about. But what does that mean? I mean, sovereignty means that we actually acknowledge that we created this situation. I mean, yeah, dark forces, whatever, but you know, we allowed this, and I really believe we can change it. I truly believe it, you know, no matter how angry or sad I am sometimes, like this week on Wednesday, because they put some new regulations in Slovenia, my home country. I don't live there.
Right.
You know, like you cannot go to the bank, you cannot go to the gas station, you cannot go to the grocery, to the doctor without, you know, the things. And me as a former lawyer, you know, especially, I got upset, I got angry, but then I took time, I was sitting with it, and this is just part of the journey. I mean, I really see it that we have won. Like, I see this, you know, the light has won. It's already happened because it's in motion. This cannot be reversed.
Right.
The awakening, I mean, you know, the return to sovereignty. I see so many people, you know, who maybe they don't speak about this openly, but they are going through such profound transformation. You know, suddenly they start talking about energy, about feeling something more than just the material life. This is so many people. It's, I don't know, I'm excited, you know, like, yeah, this whole
No,
situation excites me.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I really am. I actually, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. It's exciting to me, regardless of the back and forth that you see on a post or whatever the case is on an issue. But I'm excited to see people coming out and saying what they have to say. I
Yeah.
think that's part of it. I don't think in 5,000 productions, and you know, we've done 3,000 of these shows, a couple thousand other video productions of some sort over the years, I've ever come out 100% purely aligned, you know? But I get messages day after day after day after day, especially this year, more and more and more, especially the last few weeks, about videos that I might do or videos that others do in the group, or uh, shows where the people come out and start bearing their heart. Uh, that it's not the message, it's the energy of seeing somebody in raw form. You know, I've got a beautiful message, I think it was today, from somebody, and it really summed it up. And it was, let me see here. I appreciate the brutal honesty. It's a breath of fresh air. Uh, you know, I mean, I get these every single day, especially the last few weeks, and that's, it's okay. It's okay to you know, we're so afraid, like you said, and it's this ancestral programming and conditioning that's in our DNA that we're converting. And there's evidence of physical transformation. You know, a lot of people are experiencing that. I don't know about you, but I mean, it's like the sleep thing. How do you explain not being able to sleep in 8 hours a day? It's just, and still, you know, I wake up after 2 hours. It happened last night, and I'm laying there going, okay, well, I'm not going back to sleep, I guess. So I got up, walked around, did a couple of things, read, put a couple of posts up, and then I thought I'll try again. I go back to bed. Okay, I go to sleep. I wake up again. And it's like, what's going on here? The bodies are changing. The habits are changing. There's a natural evolution in all regards.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
but
But
the
you
other
know,
thing I wanted to say real quick about what you said, and because when you said, what are we going to talk about? I go, here we go. She just captured something. Now I forgot what it was. You said something just a while ago. I'll remember in a minute, though.
I
It was,
forgot. Well,
yeah.
but
Well, that's, yeah.
uh,
Go ahead.
no, I just wanted to say that you know, at the same time as yeah, we are transforming, the body is transforming, sleep is transforming, how we process emotions and information is transforming. But it's so important at the same time to make sure that we have space. So just space for ourselves, space where we minimize the amount of information. Because right now, besides all the information coming through social media and everywhere, and you know, from people, when we talk with people, it's light. the information that is coming through light, and then on top of all of that we are on devices so much, and that also works on the brain and the nervous system. So yeah, it's important.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Cat.
Oh, then there's things like that happen in synchronicity more and more. But you were talking about, I know what it was. You were saying, I really believe that it's already done. And,
Yeah.
you know, for a long time, people would say, it's everything is done. We're just acting it out. Da, 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 da. I really feel that the spontaneous, you know, the moment is all new, always. Like that's creation, right? That's a point of creation. That's the point that's the new existence, the new earth, like the new happening all the time. But there seems to be less and less time from the point of, let's just say, thinking of something to something happening. A lot of people have talked about, wow, this is instant karma, instant manifestation. And I do feel that energetically we've done it, right? And one of the examples I see is in the media, in social media, well, particularly social media, because I check things just to see what's happening, not, you know, just to get a feel for the field, right? All things, platforms, just different things. And what I've noticed is that there's a lot of stuff coming out now. I mean, I just watched one from a lawyer in Germany that's anti-pandemic. And it's a few months ago, anything like that would have been knocked off and censored and the platform taken off. But it's not happening now. And you're seeing more and more of it. And I'm thinking, why is that happening? Part of the reason I got up the other day, and I didn't even know it, is I got up and I knew I was going to say those three things about COVID because I had written it in my bed because I couldn't get out of bed to go do it. And so when I was able to, as soon as I started it, I was like, hey, because I started to go into this speaking in code thing that everybody started doing, like using the term jab instead of vaccine. And you know what I mean? And because of the algorithms pick it up and then they delete the video or delete, right? Well, as soon as I started to talk about, wait a minute, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say these words. Like what's going to happen? So because we're trying to adapt, or we've been adapting to an imperfect system, which we all created, but I mean, to a system that has its own set of rules, you know, that are just getting weird and distorted. So how can we fix that if we're compromising to it, right? It's kind of like, you know, people would say, hey, I'm going to get my sovereignty legally. I'm going to go to the courts and I'm going to officially do it. Now I'm a sovereign being. A few years ago, that was a big thing. Well, if I go to the courts that are really the structure of this, let's just call it this matrix, and fix it in the matrix, what have I fixed? Because it's all right here anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's
you know, I agree. So I made a video, I don't know how long ago, a week, maybe more, when I talked about that I feel it's not about fighting the old, but just creating the new. But, you know, like this is how I see it. We are on these platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and I do think they are censoring. I mean, I was about this just yesterday with my friends, and one of my friends, she explained that she knows, like this is known, that there is an algorithm that just blocks certain things. So I think, you know, I hope somebody is creating a platform that is more free, but just not full of you know, of this other stuff, just talking about vaccines and whatever all the time. I don't really want to talk about this. I want to talk about what are we creating, you know? And yes, be aware. I'm grateful for the people that are sharing this, but let's also talk about, okay, this is the old system. I don't like it. I never liked it. I stepped out 10 years ago almost. Let's create the new. Like what do we want? Let's do it.
Yeah. See, that's what I got from what you were saying about it's already done.
Yeah,
You know, I felt like for about, I think this would be like July and August, I'd come in here, I'd look outside, I think, wow, everything's different. It feels like I'm in dimension. And it's feeling of it's already here, but we're so used to the patterns of our lives that we don't see it, right? So
yeah,
how do you do that? You do create, right? You
yeah,
create, and so that's my, I guess that's my understanding when I say, okay, well, I'm not going to, you know, make up words and use code. I'm just going to, you know, be at, you know, like in other words, engage what's already occurred that I can't see, because if I keep doing the old stuff, I'm going to continue not to see it. But if I put faith in the invisible, because that's what it is, the magic starts to work. You know, I think about, I want to travel out of this country. There's certain things that say I can't do it. Well, I'm just going to have to find another way, because that's got to be a possibility if it has already occurred energetically. But it's how are we going to know about it if we don't go try it?
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. You know, so when I traveled, maybe it was the last time, or you know, I went to Slovenia to see my family, and you needed to show all of these papers, and nobody asked me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have that paper, and nobody
And
asked for it.
and did you have it in your head when you went?
You know, it was very interesting, and I took it as an opportunity for me to see what happens. You know, because I was flying back from Slovenia to Portugal, and they just added that rule like 2 days before I was flying, that I would need to get a test, and I just will not do it.
Yeah.
I feel I will go. I feel my path is clear. You know, once I centered myself, and I just put on the side everything that my mind was saying that could happen, and I just saw a clear path, and I said to myself, well, I'm gonna walk on this clear path. Let's see what happens. You know, worst case scenario, they send me back.
There you go.
Not
That's
that
it.
bad,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
Whatever.
no, that's
Yeah.
do you know Franco Di Nicola?
Uh,
Franco? He
I
comes on the
I think I saw.
bald headed guy. He ET. He's a total ET. No, I'm just kidding. He comes on the show twice a month and has for a couple of years. And so we had the Soulogy Fest. Um, and I told this story before, but it's important because it's what you're talking about. So it's in the middle of all this. It was the end of May, and he's in Canada. So him and his partner Kimberly got tickets. They had a plan. They were going to take a car across the border, catch a flight in New York, and then fly to Arizona. So he gets up. He has documents, right? He's got everything, and in his head, he says, "I got everything." You know, when they come at me, I'm going to be ready, right? So he gets to the airport 4 hours from his house by car, and he goes, and they say, "Let's see what you have," and like, no, you can't go. So he says, "Let me talk to your boss." And so he goes up 4 layers, talks to 4 different levels, and they all tell him no. So he has to drive all the way back 4 hours. He goes to bed. He talks to his higher self, and he says, "What's going on here?" You know, I mean, and the higher self says, "Well, what was your energy when you went?" And he says, "Well, I was ready." You know, he said, "Well, okay. Well, you were ready for what? And what you were ready for, you created, and that's what you got." So he was like, "Oh, okay." So he says, "Well, what do I do?" He says, "Well, why do you want to go?" "Well, I want to go to talk to the people and do what I'm here to do, which is what I've been doing for 35 years, and talk to them about, you know, the things that I've been given, and what I might be able to help them with." And the higher self said, "Well, that's the energy you carry. Just keep in mind why you're going, and that's it." And so he, instead of driving to New York, crossing the border, he gets a ticket in Toronto, where he lives, goes, buys the ticket, goes to the airport, and walks up to the counter, and the attendant just says, "Okay, go ahead." And
Yeah.
that to me was such a great example of what you're talking about, and you did it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just a big believer, and it's not. It is about creating,
Yeah.
and how do you create? You try.
Yeah, exactly. You
You
know,
try.
I
Yeah.
tried. And then when I was traveling in June, for me it was just very overwhelming to be on airports, and I decided I don't really want to travel for some time. But it's my decision. I
Yeah.
just decided because for me it was stressful. All the military with guns, all the checkpoints, all the yeah, that's how it is in Europe at least. And I decided, well, I'm not going to travel for some time because I just don't want to be in those environments, and I take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. And I think that's sovereignty as well,
Of course it is.
that's what I think. Even for the people who took the thing, if you decide, okay, what are my options? I decide to take it. This can be, I believe, a sovereign decision.
Absolutely.
This is what I'm doing, and you take responsibility for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That you said it. So what is that word that it's already getting a warped connotation, right? You're an attorney, so you're right. I mean, sovereignty. So what is that? Choice. So
Yeah.
I've said in the last week a couple of times talking about the same thing. Morgan's in Australia. If somebody walked up to me tomorrow and said, "You can get on a plane, but you got to take a vaccine,"
Mhm.
I don't know what my answer would be until it's actually a reality,
Yeah,
which would only occur if I tried, right?
exactly.
But if whatever decision I would make, it would be aligned in my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, whether I
Yeah.
do it or I don't. So to me, what you said is so important. What is that? Well, we talk about free will. That would seem to be the highest experiment of sovereignty in the universe. The amount of free will we have here. So what did we do before we came? Which is what you said at the very beginning. We we made a choice. We made a choice to come here. The universe gifted us with what we call sovereignty, and we
Yeah.
chose to come. Right. So it to me that's what it is. Choice.
Yeah.
It's choice where you're
Choice
not infringing on anyone.
and responsibility. And
Yeah.
I also I experienced this many times that when I decided, okay, this is where I'm going. For example, at one point I decided I am not struggling financially anymore. I will do what's needed and is in alignment with me, but I'm not having this anymore. And then a very, very good options presented themselves to me, very good ones, So it doesn't mean, I think, if you make a choice, like let's take the example that you said, you could fly there, and they would tell you you need to take this. Maybe in the moment when you would say, okay, I really want to be with Morgan, I feel this is my high spot, I will do it, then maybe another option would present itself to you.
Exactly.
Would do it.
Exactly. Exactly. There's another great example of that is I forget who was telling me about this or where I saw it. So it was a hospital. It was in the hospital field, the medical field. And so evidently this person knew, that's right. Yeah, actually, it was Franco, knew somebody who was a nurse. And they went to work one day and they said, "You have to take this shot." And they said, "No, I love my job, but I'm just not going to do it." So that's what was in their heart. So
Yeah.
they go home, and a few weeks go by, and then the hospital calls them back and says, "Hey, can you come back to work? We don't have enough people."
Yeah.
So you're right. There, a lot of times because of the way we've experienced life, we think, well, it's got to be this or these are the options, but it's actually in that choice that you made to no longer uh, be broke. Really, if you want to just be plain about it, and not have money, created created something that you did you have any idea that it was coming?
What?
The opportunities that helped you have more abundance?
No, I mean, I didn't know things will come in such a way, no. I just said, I'm done with that. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
The one part of this story was also at that time I was living in an apartment that was above my budget. I was using my savings. And I canceled that apartment. And I said, now something will come for me, which will be, I didn't even say a good price, will be a beautiful place that's aligned with this, what I said now. I will not have money problems anymore. And then I did some steps, but then an apartment came to me that was very beautiful, almost new, much cheaper than the other one, 5 minutes from the ocean, and I didn't even have to, a friend told me, I am moving out of my place. Do you wanna move in before I tell everyone else that it's available? These kind of things. And also my work just opened up in that time.
I'm done. I'm done. What's the seminal moment in the dark night of the soul? And we've all had many of them. We don't just have one dark night of the soul, right? But what's the seminal moment? What's the moment of whatever you want to call it? It's when you say, I'm done. Right. And look, I did that solo 2-3 days ago. I got a tremendous response. People saying, thank you for being raw. And it's not about me. That wasn't the point. And I was amazed. I never listened to the videos, but I did because somebody had sent me a message. So I was doing some work listening to it. And I said, fuck this shift about 50 times.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that I had done that because I've stopped trying to curse, consciously for a long time on this show. But I was also basically channeling my heart, right? So I'm laughing, wondering, wow, I didn't realize I did that. And I was kind of amazed that I didn't get a lot of people upset about it. In fact, nobody said anything, but a couple of people did. And one of the comments, and I don't have a problem saying this, and it was, there's a little bit of aggression, there's a little bit of anger, and that's what that is. And I said, well, that might be true, but I was saying I'm done, and I was saying fuck this shift, okay, to myself, because I'm tired of being a frequency of cognitive dissonance with myself, with my soul and with my human. I wasn't throwing anything at anyone. It was the energy of what's presented that I know is not in line with me. Yeah. And so I love what you said. I'm done. I'm not going to be broke anymore. And then the magic happens. And you didn't go, I'm going to say I'm done, but I'm going to set something up, concrete, because that's two different vibrations. That's working with the old one and trying to do the new. You're sending the universe a mixed signal. So when you say I'm done, it's not about the person, and it's not about the energy being presented to you or the government or the mandate or whatever. It's about your own being done with it's being done with cognitive dissonance within yourself. And to me, that is closer to, sovereignty. And what is it? What started that? What initiated that? A choice. You made a choice to say, I am done, right? Yeah. I'm tired of being broke. I'm done.
Yeah. And, the concept of creating, for me, versus manifesting. I know, that the word manifesting is often used, and sometimes I sleep and I use it still, but I prefer creating, because I feel when I say I'm creating something, I create what is literally coming from within me. And I'm not creating it because this or that exists or doesn't exist, or because I want to change something. I'm creating that because I cannot not do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not being me.
Yeah, and you're right. You know, this is why I think I've always had kind of a issue with, what is it called? The law of attraction. You know, I got that book, and they did the movie. What was the movie? I can't remember what it was. The Secret was real big. But you're right. Creation is the word, not manifestation. You know, manifestation is, you know, I'm going to think about it and but creation is that I'm done frequency. Like I'm going to try something that hasn't been tried. And what does that mean? It means whatever we've been chasing all this time, all these years, what we talk about here is what we feel, this energy coming in, the code you're talking about that comes in. What is that? I mean, what's the point of it but to find ourselves, find our power, and find our ability, which is the exact same thing that which created us. We're made in the image.
Yeah.
You know, we're made in the image, and what are we made in the image of? Creation, creating. I mean, this is, you don't have to think about creation, or, you know, manifesting. You do. Let me make a vision board, and I'm not knocking that stuff, people, but creation is taking those moments like you described with yourself, and just going into that solitude and going, I'm done with this. I'm not going to. And I know from previously talking to you over the years, we both talked about being broke, right?
Yeah.
We both talked about it openly, about how do we do this? You know, we both start things and, like, you know, do you charge people? Do you not charge people? And you know what I mean? And here you broke the code. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm really passionate in this time about sharing this frequency of creating the new, not fighting the old.
Mm.
And I really saw this week, I saw this paradigm of how we were programmed to fight against what we don't like, what doesn't resonate, or, you know, what endangers our rights, to fight. I think this is the old paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
Stand in our sovereignty and, you know, okay, say no, 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 or, you know, or say, yes, I am in this system, I will be in this system, and I will be a light inside that system wherever I am.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. There's a
Because,
lawyer. There's a
yeah,
lawyer in Australia, Geraldine Grace. She's been on the show a couple of times, and she has a podcast, and I don't remember the name of it. It's on YouTube, and she talks to other lawyers around the world.
yeah,
Now, you know, everyone talks about going from 3D to 5D, and she said, when she was on the show, she said, you know what? I'm going into 3D.
yeah.
I'm going into the system with other like-minded attorneys, and we're working to change the system itself and convert the system itself. So I was like, wow, you know, here's somebody who openly says, I'm not going to 5D. I'm taking what I have learned and what I learn and what code I pick up, and I'm going in a collaborative effort with others like me to change the system itself.
But, you know, then again, what the hell does it even mean to be in 5D or 3D, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not in 5D. I mean, she's in a different state of consciousness,
Yeah.
just working from within the system. Also, I don't even talk about 3D or 5D. For me, or, you know, whatever D, you know?
See, that's what I love about this show. It's like a session. You learn, it's a conversation, but you're right. What's the difference between me saying, you know, even saying there's 3D here and there's 5D here? That's like me saying they're not awake and they're awake. Where am I? I don't know. Maybe that's the 0 point, is everything gets diluted into the same thing. I mean, that would only make sense, that all the polarities meet. And why would 3D and 5D be any different, or awake and unawake be any different? I don't know. This is another thing I think that's happening as time goes on, is we have certain understandings then we wake up the next day and they get challenged because,
Yeah.
right? Like you go, oh, okay, well, I thought I was smart and I had it figured out, but now my friend just said, what's the difference between 3D and 5D? You know what? She's right. You know, but one thing's for sure, that, you know, we have to be open. I'm not saying that that's like you got to do this. I'm just saying, obviously, when we're not open, especially within ourselves, what might be unconscious in ourselves, you know, then we stagnate. It's trying something new. And part of trying something new is saying, well, maybe something's running in me that I don't see.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And you know, sorry, cat.
No, we love the animals. They're always coming on the show.
Yeah. You know, so when I said, like, for me, really, I honestly, if you ask me, I don't know what's 3D, what's 5D. So how I'm seeing it is, I just want to expand my consciousness because I want to see more and more and more of what is in my blind spots. And then, from what I learned from my journey, I want to assist others to do the same, to expand their awareness and to see what's in their blind spots. That's it for me. You know, I used to talk about 5D and 3D, but it doesn't matter for me anymore. You know, I don't think about it. I just,
You're right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well, I mean, you're right. Maybe what it is we're just creating multi-D. You know, different. You know, like the different connections that come in from our aspects, like channels and downloads, conversations. Um, you know, abilities, the change in the body. Maybe we're just. Maybe that's part of being. Is not, again, because the 5D, or whatever you want to call it, even like the term New Earth, it's like praying. Like, you know, we've all gone through this. I mean, I get to my bed at night, and then I start to talk, and I think, who am I talking to? I'm talking to me, right?
yeah,
I mean, I still have the same conversations. But now, instead of saying to something out there, I am grateful, I'm saying to myself, I am grateful. You know,
yeah,
and it's such a different experience because it's more of a oneness, right? It's more of like, you know, I'm in tune with things at the human level. The human is included, not some
exactly.
poor little energy body that's, you know, the runt or of the universe that needs help. Poor little thing. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just, and the other thing that's interesting too, it's the human things, the very, very human things that are bringing the most power, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like the being the human, feeling the emotions, making that choice,
Yeah,
respecting the human,
yeah,
not spending our time out in the ethers all the time because we don't want to be human, right?
yeah. You know, this has really been my practice lately, and you know, for example, right now I'm dealing with very practical stuff that all my life I'm avoiding. You know, get the car, uh, look for a place, then connect with people more, not just stay here in my bubble and do my work.
Mm,
And it's nice. It's nice connecting with people. I really didn't, you know, I didn't do much of this my whole life because I am very fine being by myself or just with a small number of people that are really, you know, that I can really connect with. But it is, I really feel it's about the human. I mean,
mm,
yes, and bring everything else that we are, of course. You know, we are not just the human, but we are here on earth
right, right,
in the body. Why are we here,
yeah.
you know?
Like what's the difference between reading a book and getting a download? What's the difference between having a trauma and having a dimensional experience or a lucid dream? It's all information. You
Yeah,
know, it's all information. And you can say to what, to wake parts of us up. You know, you have a past life experience, you know, that type of thing,
yeah. And
whatever.
also this, so acknowledging everything that we are, because, for example, I have most of my life, I have remembered experiences from past lives, traumas from past lives that were not acknowledged in this life because they didn't happen in this life, but I remembered them very vividly and they were stopping me from doing things, so we are, it's very interesting. We are not just these human beings, we are like,
Right. There's the paradox.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, yeah. It always comes back to the human,
Yeah, but
right?
we are, I think, honestly, we have no clue yet how powerful
I
we
agree.
truly
I agree. I totally agree.
are.
That's why, my thoughts, and I talk about this sometimes, but my thoughts are less and less on like what you're saying, like not even going there. If something's presented to you, you do. And like you said, you're doing these human things, right? And my thoughts are more on, hey, can I teleport? I mean, can I do something that's considered fantasy? Like,
Mhm.
the things, these are things that have been written in fairy tales. They've been written in myths. So where did that come from? Has it happened before? I mean, if we had past traumas that that are influencing us, like you were talking about, which is we know that's true. Well, didn't we have past supernatural abilities too? Right? I mean, like, how do we know if we don't go there?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is your experience as well, but now I hear from normal people, you know what I mean, talking about telepathy.
Yeah,
That I'm like, oh,
yeah,
interesting. It's
yeah,
coming up, it's in the field. It's not maybe just us who remember that this is true, or that we already use it for years. Now this is
yeah.
coming collectively.
That's getting loud. That's getting loud. That's
Yeah,
getting loud. It
yeah,
really is. That's definitely happening. I see it happening every day in my experience.
yeah.
I really do. Which is like which is more evidence to me that, to your point, the energetics are ahead of the physical
Yeah.
uh, creation experience, the physical. I don't want to use the word this way, but manifestation of what's happened energetically. And so,
Yeah.
like, telepathy is a great example because it's like, okay, it started with the downloads. You get a download and you're riveted, and you walk around for 20 minutes, then you go, am I crazy or did that actually just happen? So the same, and then we start to get more confidence in it. People start sharing it. Then you start to understand other people are getting the same information. Then it starts to happen at the same time. So it gets momentum. Well, the same with telepathy. I knew that, right? Becomes I know that in the moment and not later on. And it becomes more of a creative tool in the moment, and many times in collaborating or interactions with other people. These are superpowers by our past perspective.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. By our past perspective, but I think when we really step into our sovereignty and everything that we are, we don't call this magic or superpowers anymore because this is just who we are.
Yeah, it's a new normal.
Yes.
It's the new normal, and the new normal's here. But how do you draw this analogy? It's like I said this the other day, and I can't remember how I said it, but that story about the emperor with no clothes,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like the placebo effect. It's the belief. The guy thought he was walking around in a beautiful suit, yet he was naked, right? But until he found out he was naked, he was fine.
Yeah.
But the reverse of that, it's the reverse of that. We think we're walking around in a suit, because that's what the world tells us. And then you find out that we're naked, and then you find out that everybody's naked, kind of thing. That's telepathy. I mean, telepathy, obviously, If it's 100% acknowledged, there's nothing. There's our whole world just changes, and it's actually happening. Things don't have to be said. Think about it.
Yeah. Also, besides telepathy, just this fact that most of us have forgotten that we are free beings.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that they are free. That's why they keep being in this loop that's going on. And once people realize, oh,
yeah,
I can choose, and many of us can choose, and then in one moment everything is different.
Yeah, I like that. And I like what you said about, okay, so you're in the wheel, like you were talking about. But going back to what you said earlier about the money, the I'm done moment. The I'm done moment has nothing to do with anything else. It's just me.
Yeah.
F this shit. That's just me saying to myself, I'm done. I'm done feeling like this. I'm done doing this. It's got nothing to do with anybody outside of me. It's me. And then in your example and in Franco's example, you have a clear-cut physical experience that actually it's all the proof you need. I mean, you're in a place near the beach. You said I'm done, and you didn't know how it was going to happen, but that's taking that path that which is actually the same energy and the same pattern that we all listen to that got us here in the first place. It's the one that got you to quit your job and leave your country, right? I mean, it's the same thing. It didn't make any sense, but you did it and you continue to do it. And so has everybody else that's here, all the crazy people.
Yeah.
But I think there's more and more crazy people in the world now.
Oh, yeah.
Like to your point about the telepathy and
Yeah.
I know we're going to have a big laugh when it's all over. But the whole thing is probably the biggest laugh is going to be because there was nothing, there's nothing to be over because it's always been right here.
Yeah, I think we should just start laughing now already, and then just go and do, what we are called to do.
You have, I'm not real big, even though obviously I'm part of a platform that puts out all different types of expressions. I haven't done any remixes in a while. There's not much you can do lately. It's just like, just do the basics. It takes everything you got. But you have one of the most calming frequencies that I've come across. And when you do, even just when you speak, I've got several things I've downloaded that I use in the remixes. Some are light language, some are you're talking, like your recent videos that I ran into on Facebook. And some are both, but and one has your cat in it. But yeah, I don't know if you're up to it, but if you just wanted to just give us a message before we head out or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I don't know if light language is coming, but my message is really this. We got this. We really got this. And it's difficult. It's difficult for me also to make steps out of my comfort zone. But somehow it's like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
What now is the time. This is the time that we've been preparing for, all these years that we've been talking about. The moment will come and this and that. This is the moment. This is the moment. I truly believe we got this. And I am just inviting myself all the time and challenging myself to step out of my comfort zone, to be here, in this moment, not to escape out of my body when I become overwhelmed. Seriously, we are encoded for this time. We have everything that we need. together. You know, one of us does this, the other one does that. All together, we have all the tools to create this new world that we've been feeling in our hearts for so long. And why have we been feeling it? Because it's true. Now we just need to bring it into form. And just, do we have a little bit more time? Or?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, just to share some light language, because it's coming to calibrate to this frequency of yes, we can do it. Angaranea iya kata, teana ke sheatana, ia engadania antea keatana, sheana I keanata, narakateeta eanakata, nea keatata. Come together, people, together. Yes, from your sovereign space, but together. This is the time now to create together.
Thank you so much. That speaks for itself. That's why I was saying I come across your stuff and it always just takes me to this. Yeah. Thank you very much. And it's good to see you. It's been a long time. I wish you the best always, and thank you for what you do. Thank you for your big giant ovaries. You just keep doing it, and everyone like you. But thank you so much.
Thank
Love,
you. Thank you.
love you. You take care.